Hi everyone, my name is Matt Casti, and today I'll be answering two questions about leadership, power, and communication based on both my personal experiences and concepts from our course textbook. The two questions I chose are 1. What types of power do I have as a student? And 5. Have I ever worked with a difficult person and how would I communicate differently now? As a student at ASU, I actually have multiple types of power that influence how I communicate with classmates, professors, and even administrators. Our textbook explains that people can hold expert power, referent power, and legitimate power, depending on the situation. This comes from Miller and Wall 2023. A clear example of expert power for me is in group projects. I'm strong with Excel, organizing work, and structuring assignments. So classmates often rely on me for those tasks. Because of that skill, people trust my judgment, which gives me influence. Next, I also have referent power, which comes from relationships and how others view you. In my fraternity and in my business classes, I try to communicate respectfully and supportively, so people usually feel comfortable talking with me. That sense of trust increases my ability to collaborate and lead. Finally, I also hold a small degree of legitimate power. As a student, the textbook defines this as power that comes from your role or position. For example, students have the right to fair grading, office hours, and academic support. Because of that power, professors take concerns seriously when we communicate professionally. Overall, the types of power I hold as a student, expert, referent, and legitimate, shape the way I communicate and allow me to build stronger relationships in academic and social settings. Yes, I've definitely worked with difficult people before, and honestly, my communication wasn't always the most effective. In our textbook, several concepts help explain how to handle difficult people: emotional intelligence, conflict management styles, and perception checking. This comes from Miller and Wall 2023. My best example comes from a group project last semester. One group member constantly missed deadlines, ignored messages, and shut down other people's ideas. At the time, I used the avoidant conflict style. I didn't want to create tension, so I just kept quiet. But that approach made the project more stressful for everyone. If I faced that situation today, I would use assertive communication instead of avoidance. I would also use perception checking, which the textbook describes as asking clarifying questions before assuming anything. For example, I could say, "Hey, I noticed the deadlines have been hard to meet. Is something going on?" This opens up space for understanding rather than blaming. I also would have used I statements like, "I feel stressed when deadlines are missed because it affects the whole group." This approach is more respectful and keeps the focus on solving the problem. Now that I understand emotional intelligence and collaborative conflict strategies, I feel way more prepared to communicate effectively with difficult people in the future. In conclusion, this course helped me understand the real power I have as a student through my skills, my relationships, and my role at ASU. It also taught me more effective ways to communicate with difficult people using emotional intelligence and assertive communication. These concepts will definitely help me grow as a leader as I move forward in school and in my career. Thank you.